Hello and welcome to BYJU'S Exam Prep IAS. Let's get started and look into our daily quiz. Before we start with our practice questions for the day, we have two important announcements. BYJU'S Exam Prep IAS would be conducting IAS offline workshop in multiple cities in India. This is scheduled to be conducted on 9th of October 2022. We will have a mock test between 4 p.m. and 5 p.m. and the IAS workshop between 5 p.m. and 7 p.m. This will be held in the city of Chennai, followed up by Hyderabad. We will have an Hindi session in Delhi, followed by an English session in Delhi, and we will also have another session in Lucknow. If you are in any of these cities, you can register and then take some of the important inputs from our distinguished faculty members. The next announcement is in reference to the weekly current affairs explain session. As part of the explain session, today's topic discussion would be Chief of Defense Staff. Please do tune in live on our YouTube channel at 8 p.m. so that you understand everything about this topic. Let's get started and look into the first question. With respect to Rajaraja Chola, which of the following statements are correct? During his reign, the texts of Tamil poets Appar, Sambandar and Sundarar were collected and edited into one compilation called Tirumurai. During his rule, Sri Lanka was known as Nigarili Chola Mandalam. Which of the statements are correct? The answer to this is one only. Why have we taken this practice question? Because this article on the Hindu makes a reference to the Rajaraja Chola. When we speak about Rajaraja Chola, his original name happens to be Arumoli Varman. So remember, he was born as Arumoli Varman. And when we look into the statements, yes, during his reign, the text of the Tamil poets Appar, Sambandar and Sundarar were collected and edited into one single compilation called as Tirumurai, and during his rule, Sri Lanka was not known as Nigarili Chola Mandalam. Instead, it was called as Mummudi Chola Mandalam, or it was also called as Ila Mandalam. So remember, during the time of Rajaraja Chola, northern part of Sri Lanka were captured by Rajaraja Chola as well, and this part is what is called as Mummudi Chola Mandalam or Ila Mandalam. When we speak about Rajaraja Chola, he is remembered for the greatest Chola influence that we ever had, and this was spread across the entire Indian Ocean, and Rajaraja Chola was one of the greatest rulers who also constructed the Rajarajeshwara temple or Brihadeshwara temple at Tanjavur. He also made Tanjavur his capital as well, and when we look at the administration, a mandalam happens to be the largest territorial division. So we have different types of mandalam called as Jayakunda Chola Mandalam. Then we have Chola Mandalam, Rajaraja Pandi Mandalam, and when it comes to Sri Lanka, it was called as Mummudi Chola Mandalam. And each mandalam was further divided into what is called as Kottams or the Valanadus. Each Kottam was further divided into Nadu, and each Nadu was divided into Urs, which happens to be the villages. These are some of the important points from the preliminary examination point of view. It was under Rajaraja I and his son Rajendra I that Chola power reached its highest point of glory. The following were their military conquests: the defeat of Chera ruler Bhaskara Ravivarman, defeat of the Pandyan ruler Amara Bhujanga, and the establishment of Chola authority in Pandya country, the invasion of Sri Lanka, which was entrusted to his son Rajendra I. As the Sri Lankan king Mahinda V fled from the country, the Cholas annexed northern Sri Lanka as well. Another military achievement was the naval expedition against the Maldive Islands, which were also conquered. The Chola victory over the growing power of the western Chalukyas of Kalyani. Satyasraya was defeated and Rajaraja I captured Raichur, Banavasi and other places. Hence, the Chola Empire extended up to river Tungabhadra. Now let's look into the next practice question. India's first dark sky reserve is said to come up in, is it Ladakh, Nainital, Narayangaon or Udaipur? The answer to this is Ladakh. Why have we taken this practice question? Because this article on the Hindu makes a reference to India's first dark sky reserve, which is all set to come up in Hanle in Ladakh, which is why it becomes very important from the preliminary examination point of view. So when we speak about why Ladakh was chosen for this particular project, Ladakh is a unique cold desert located above 3000 meters above sea level with high mountainous terrains. Long and harsh winters with minimum temperatures dropping to minus 40 degrees Celsius make large parts of the Union Territory highly inhabitable. This aridity, limited vegetation, high elevation, and large areas with sparse population also make it the perfect setting for the long-term astronomical observatories and dark sky places. So what is a dark sky reserve? Basically, it can be a public property or it can be a private land as well, where it is of substantial size. And when you consider this dark sky reserve, it will have what is called as the core area. The core area is free of all the light pollution, where if there is telescope, we would be able to see the sky in the natural darkness. So this has the distinguished quality of starry nights and nocturnal environment, and that is why Ladakh has been selected for this particular project. If you look at examples elsewhere, we have the dark sky reserves around the world. It includes France, United Kingdom, Wales, Australia, New Zealand, Germany, USA and Mexico, USA, Canada, Ireland as well as Namibia. These countries also have the dark sky reserve as well. So we will have India's first dark sky reserve where this will be set up in Ladakh. Now let's look into the next practice question. Consider the following statements. Lai Haroba is the earliest form of dance which forms the basis of all stylized dance in Manipur. It was in the reign of King Dhruva Arjuna that popular Raslila dances of Manipur originated. In Manipur Ras, the main characters are Radha, Krishna and the Gopis, and it incorporates both Tandava and Lasya. Which of the statements given above are correct? The answer to this is 1 and 3 only. Why have we taken this practice question? Because this article on the Hindu makes a reference to the Manipuri dance. Let us try and understand what are these statements. When you look into the first statement, yes, Lai Haroba is the earliest form of dance which forms the basis of all stylized dance in Manipur. This statement is right. But when you look into the second statement, it was not King Dhruvarjuna, but instead it happens to be Bhagya Chandra. Now third statement is right. In Manipuri Ras, the main characters are Radha, Krishna and the Gopis, and it also incorporates Thandava and Lasya. Since the first and the third statement are right, the answer to this would be C. Now let's look at important facts with respect to the Manipuri dance. This happens to be an ancient classical dance form that originated in the northern state of Manipur in India. Its origins can be traced back to the ancient times, even before the recorded history began. Lai Haroba is the earliest form of dance in Manipur, and it forms the basis of all such dances. Lai Haroba is a festival still observed in the state. It has its roots in Manipur's pre-Vaishnavite era. Manipuri culture is a combination of Indian and South Indian cultures. This is reflected in its dances as well. There are essentially two divisions in the classical Manipuri dance. One happens to be Jogoi, the other happens to be Chola. Chief instruments used are the drum as well as flute, and there are different types. Varieties of Manipuri dance styles include Ras, Nata Sankirtan, Pung Chollam, Dola Chollam, Kartal Chollam as well as Tangta. There are three styles of Manipuri Ras Leela. This includes Tal Rasak, Danda Rasak as well as Mandal Rasak. Most of the themes are influenced by the Vaishnava theme of Hinduism. This includes themes related to Shaivism, themes related to Thandava style, themes related to Lasya style as well. Now let's look into the next practice question. Which of the following are the warm ocean currents in the Pacific Ocean? Agulhas current, Alaska's current, Humboldt current, Kamchatka current, Kuroshia current. The answer to this is 2 and 5 only. Why have we taken this practice question? Because this article on the Hindu makes a reference to the Gulf Stream, the warm current. If we look into the warm currents that are in the Pacific Ocean, what we have is Alaska current. Then what we have is the Kuroshio current. The question is asking for not just warm currents, it is asking for warm currents in the Pacific Ocean. So if we look into the Pacific Ocean, yes, we do have the Alaska current, we do have the Kuroshio current as well. These are the warm currents. Yes, when you look into Agulhas current, this also happens to be a warm current, but is it in the Pacific Ocean? No. Agulhas current happens to be a warm current in the Indian Ocean and not in the Pacific Ocean? The question is asking for warm currents in the Pacific Ocean, so it is Alaska current as well as Kuroshio current. This can also be asked in your preliminary examination, so please remember we have some of the important warm currents. Which are these warm currents? Which are these cold currents? Please segregate them and put it on the comment section. Now let's look into the next practice question. With reference to G20 Common Framework, consider the following statements. It is an initiative endorsed by the G20 together with the Paris Club. It is an initiative to support low-income countries with unsustainable debt. Which of the statements given above are correct? The answer to this is both 1 and 2. This happens to be a previous year question from the year 2022. Now let's look into the fact of the day. The fact of the day for today's discussion happens to be Super App. Let us try and understand what is this Super App all about. Whenever you have to order food online, what do? You either go to Zomato or Swiggy, or let's say you have to book ticket online to watch one of the movies. What do? You go to Book My Show. So there are multiple apps which have a specific function. For example, for food, what we have is Zomato. For booking of tickets, what we have is Book My Show. So there are specific functions that each of these applications work. But what if there is one single application which is able to provide all these services? That single application which is able to provide different services under one single application is what is called a super application. So basically, if you want to message someone, you would be able to message using this application. If you want to send money to someone, you would be able to make use of the same application. You want to order food online, you can make use of this single application. You want to book the tickets, you can make use of this single application. Then you have to pay your insurance premium, mobile recharge, so on and so forth. Everything, shopping, clothing, everything can be done under one single application. That is what is called as the super application. So instead of having different applications, what you will have is one single application which will provide you all types of services, is what is called a super app. When we speak about super app, what is the example? We can take the example of China, where they have what is called as the WeChat, which started out as a messaging app. It expanded into payments, shopping, food ordering, cab services, etc. to become what is called as the super application. Do we have anything equivalent in India? What we have is Paytm. In Paytm, you would be able to transfer the money. Yes. You would be able to do the shopping. Yes. Are there any insurance premiums there? Yes. So Paytm is an equivalent, but it also has to enhance its features as well. Are there any other applications as well? Yes, we do have some. We have the Tata Neu. We also have Reliance Jio as well, which is coming up with its own ecosystem as well as the super application, where most of the services will be provided under one single application. But what are the concerns associated with the super application? Let's say, for example, we have one of the companies A. This particular company, in order to provide all the services, will acquire another company B. So what happens? This particular company B would have all your information. You would have given consent to this particular company B to have your data, but then B is brought over by A. In this particular backdrop, your entire data will also be given to A. A has multiple other companies as well. Let's say XYZ, your data which you had given to B, where you had given consent only to B, is now with A, and this data is also passed on to X, Y and Z companies as well. So privacy in 21st century happens to be a myth. So the minute you give your data to a company B, this B, if it is bought out by company A, and its associate companies will get all the data with respect to you, and privacy is violated because of such super application. And whenever a company is formed, it is able to provide all these services. It will create a monopoly in the system, and ultimately, initially, when it is starting off the company, most of the prices may be affordable, but once it creates a monopoly, other companies will not able to compete with it, and the prices of certain products may also increase as well. This happens to be the second concern. The third the experts also point out is that the data collected by the master app could be used in training machines in artificial intelligence and predict consumer behavior as well. This happens to be a third concern. The fourth concern is with respect to hacking. What exactly happens? Let's say there is an hacker who hacks the BookMyShow database. In that case, what will that hacker know? He will know about your movie preferences. Let's say he hacks Swiggy or Zomato. In that case, what would he know? He would know your food preferences as well. But if this person hacks the super app, he would know all your preferences with respect to your clothing brand, with respect to your food items, with respect to the groceries that you buy, and ultimately he would be able to sell this particular data. And in the near future, you would have advertisements that constantly hit at you, and you would be under a constant surveillance. These are some of the important pointers with respect to the super application. So this is it for today. Thank you for watching. All the best.